Guys, this is one of the nicest cars I've driven in recent times. Talking about the Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. As you know, earlier I drove the E200 during a Mercedes-Benz organized drive to Ipoh and back to KL. Well, I'm back in KL, but they graciously gave me the Mercedes-Benz GLE to keep until Friday. I've driven the car on the highway, I've driven it around, and I tell you, I'm completely blown away. You know, I really have been looking forward to driving this car. So I had an option to choose. You know, I had an E63 AMG to choose, GLC 43, but I specifically chose the GLE simply because it's such a looker, and as I thought, it really drives really well as well. So it was introduced in Malaysia sometime this year. It's now a CKD variant. Previously you had the CBU variant. So even in CKD variant, still very, very impressive. So all the arguments that CKD variants are, you know, not so nice lah, lesser quality lah, this lah, that lah, is bullshit. Such a nice car to drive. Not only that, it's also 110,000 ringgit cheaper than the CBU unit, which is absolutely fantastic, I tell you. And it doesn't lose out on much either. It just loses out on a couple of safety features and some interior bits here and there. But otherwise, it's a fantastic car. Look at it. Such an amazing machine, right? Such a handsome car. And those 21-inch wheels really accentuate the car. Really makes it look really, really nice. And I love these power domes over here. Excuse the bird droppings. So the power domes look really good. The grille, just amazing. And I love the twin daytime running lights over here. The new generation of Mercedes-Benzes, seriously, when it comes to design, it's amazing. Let's take a look at the engine. Let me pop the hood. So it's a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine. Such a mighty engine. Produces over about 367 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 over 5 seconds. Seriously, it's an amazing engine. Acceleration, it really does shove you back into the seat. No drama, seriously, this is one of the nicer engines that Mercedes has built. And 6-cylinder engines always have a very special character to them, and this is no different. It is, however, quite thirsty. Normal lah, turbocharged engine, you want to tekan here, tekan there, all everything. So I was on the throttle quite a bit, but fantastic. Really, if you're light-footed, I believe that this can be quite economical also. Like, it all depends. Fuel consumption is very subjective. It depends on how heavy your right foot is. Yeah. It's also a 7-seater. Let's check out the back. So you put this away, and you have these buttons over here. Can you see the buttons? There are a couple of buttons over here. So this button is to lower the car, lower the back of the car. I think, there you go. It's supposed to lower the car so that it's easier for you to, if you're carrying something heavy, for you to put it up. So that's, you know, innovation lah, Mercedes-Benz way. And then there you go, it's going lower now. So yeah, because it's blinking over here. When it blinks, that means it's working. And when it stops, that means it's at its lowest setting already. So that's great lah. Then the second button over here is to bring back. There you go. It's folding the front right hand side seat, and it's all electronic, right? And this button over here does it to the left. left side seat. I mean, look at this. And suddenly, there's so much of space. So seriously, you could do anything with this car. You could have yoga lessons in here. So if you take this away, which you can, you just got to pull it from the side and you have acres and acres of space. And the one thing that I really like is that, let me see how to put this back. How do I... Anyway, I can't figure out how to... Oh yeah, so because it's electronic, right? So everything is just a push of the button away. What about that left side seats below the back seats? Let me figure this out. Is there a way to do this? There are no buttons. So do I have to manually pull them up? Yeah, I think I have to manually pull them up. So yeah, I'm not going to try to do that right now. So anyway, left side seats. They come back into place electronically. So no heavy lifting required. And the back seats are actually some of the nicest one of the nicest seats in this segment. So what else is in this segment, you ask? Well, you also have the likes of the BMW X6, and then of course on the higher price segment you have the Porsche Cayenne, which is I think about 600 over 1,000, starting from 600 over 1,000 right now. You also have the Porsche Macan, which is smaller lah, so let's not talk about that. I want to show you this. So back seats, you can control amount of leg space you get. You can also control the backrest. And the headrest. Everything is controllable from here. So it's essentially, you could be chauffeur driven in this car lah. Really. Honestly, it's a very, very nice car. So why don't you take a seat in the passenger side and let's talk about the interior. Okay, so the interior, and let's start it up. First things first, this massive screen over here is 24.6 inches. So 12.3 inches here, 12.3 inches here. This part though, let me turn on the aircon. This part though is touch screen, so everything is touch control. But this part here though is not touch sensitive. Fantastic, brilliant, right? Mercedes really thought of everything. The other way that you could control this is via this touchpad over here. But if you were to use this cable, which is something quite annoying, because the Type-C port, well, by the way, everything is Type-C, yeah? In here there's no USB ports. Type-C port is here, so because cables are quite long, this is a standard Apple cable. So cable will tend to touch this screen, this pad over here. So why does this happen? Because all the cables have a small static energy, almost like your fingertips. So the system just assumes that it's your finger that is touching it. So that's why, look at this. It's happening with the cable here. But this is something that I experienced in other cars as well. Another car that comes to mind that has something similar in terms of a touchpad is the Lexus RX. So the Lexus RX 2 has the same problem over here. So perhaps a repositioning of the Type-C port, or a rethinking of this touchpad over here is required. So lots of space over here as well. Another Type-C port here. So that's more for charging. However, there's only one port that connects directly to the system. This is what you need to connect into if you want to use things like the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. If you put it into the port next to it, it's not going to work. There's also a charging pad over here, so this works with all mobile phones. Cup holders over here. This button over here raises or lowers the suspension of the GLE. So this is important, especially if you're going off-road and or driving on the highway. This part over here, this button over here gives you different drive modes. So you can choose your drive modes, or you can customize your how you want the car to feel individual. Volume, navigation, radio, telephone. This star button over here is basically known as a favorites button because you can program it to do anything you want. And then if you press this car looking button over here, basically a quick access into the car's onboard systems lah. Fantastic place to be in. The Burmester sound system is fantastic. There's one massive speaker up front here, so you get a total immersive experience when it comes to audio. So it's really nice, seriously. I really like this steering wheel as well. I think it's much better than the current generation steering wheel. The current generation steering wheel, which if you go back to the E200 video that I did, everything is touch sensitive. So that would work well for most people, but it doesn't work well for me because I have sweaty palms. So if I have sweaty palms, the touch pads don't work, which basically renders the steering wheel useless lah, except for steering lah, of course. Of course comes with pedal shifters, that's great. And as usual, everything to do with Mercedes-Benz, the new MUX onboard system, you can basically customize how you want the entire meter to look like. Like previously was classic, now is sport. And then if you can change it up to how many ways again? Progressive and understated. So that's great. And so this lets you customize how this feels like, so you don't get bored of your car, not like you should when you're driving such a nice car. At night, there's a gorgeous light strip that extends the entire length of the dash, but there's also a light strip at the side over here, and I programmed it to something. Let's see, lights, ambient lighting, color. I put it to color flash, or you can do color mix as well. Color flash basically changes the color every few seconds, so it's quite entertaining actually. I also like this massive panoramic roof over here. It creates such an illusion of space because it's such a basically big window over here to the outside world. So this is great. And yeah, so you have this square air conditioning vents. I think the GLE and the SUV versions are the only ones that have it. The regular ones on the sedan are roundish. This is square, as I said. So I need you to come up front here so I can show you the seats. So this is what I mean, that because of the CKD variants, you don't get Napa leather. So this is a mixture of leather. I think there's Artico and this, I can't remember what, but it's fabric. But it's not a deal breaker because they are really nice, comfortable seats. What I do wish could be better is the color of the wood trimming. It's a very dark feeling inside here. It's a brighter color, a shade brighter would have been nicer, I think. But otherwise, no issues. Even the stitching is beautiful. So this is not an air conditioning vent. This is just a design element over here. The air conditioning vents are everywhere except for here. So that's really nice, and I really can't fault this car except for this thing over here, which I found very annoying when I was driving on the highway yesterday, because I was driving alone and I kept my phone over there and it kept moving around, and it just messed up the entire thing, and the system I think got so confused that it just basically reset itself. So So he's like, Keshy, I give up on you. I'm just gonna go to sleep for a while. I'll be back in 5 minutes. That's literally what the system did. So yeah. So 475,000 ringgit for this car. It's literally a steal if you can afford it. I did some research just now, and so if you put down 150,000 ringgit down payment, and you choose the Mercedes financial system, I can't remember what it's called, but your monthly payments are basically 4,500 ringgit for 3 years. So 4,500 ringgit, bro, for 3 years. So all Mercedes-Benzes in Malaysia come with a 4-year warranty and 4-year free maintenance. So making this car an absolute steal. Anyway, if you're looking for a really good car and you can afford it, do consider the GLE, because it's seriously an amazing machine. One of the nicer cars I've driven in recent times. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'm Keshy Dhillon.